Bienvenidas, bienvenidos a un nuevo encuentro del Festival RESIS con los grandes protagonistas de la música de nuestro tiempo. Indudablemente, entre ellos está Beat Furrer, a quien recibimos hoy. Beat Furrer es uno de los compositores y directores que han marcado la música de las últimas décadas en Europa. Nació en Suiza en el año 1954 y en 1935 se traslada a Austria para estudiar dirección de orquesta con Ottmar Suitner y composición con Roman Haubenstock-Ramati. En 1985 funda el Klangforum de Viena, uno de los conjuntos de los que cualquier melómano tiene más discos en su casa, que nos ha aportado el descubrimiento de nuevos compositores y de versiones que han cambiado nuestra forma de comprender la música de hoy. Y además le suma la faceta docente. Desde el año 1991 es profesor en la Universidad de las Artes de Graz, además de en numerosos seminarios a lo largo de Europa, con los que ha formado a generaciones de compositores, entre los que se encuentra el director artístico del Festival RESIS, Hugo Gómez-Chao. El trabajo de Beat Furrer ha sido reconocido con importantes premios, desde el León de Oro de la Bienal de Venecia hasta el premio de la Fundación Siemens. En su catálogo encontramos piezas de todo tipo de géneros, piezas de cámara, piezas orquestales, piezas de ópera, en la que ha trabajado extensamente a lo largo de las últimas décadas, óperas como Die Blinden, Narcissus, Fama, Wüstenbuch, Begehren, etc., hasta llegar a Violetta Schnee, que es su última gran propuesta operística estrenada en Berlín. Ha prestado también una atención especial a la poesía en lengua castellana, sobre lo cual hablaremos con él. Tiene obras basadas en poemas de Pablo Neruda, tiene obras basadas en poemas de José Ángel Valente, como las que escucharemos esta noche en Coruña, y de todo ello charlaremos con el propio Beat. Beat, willkommen in Spanien, bienvenido a Galicia. Tonight's concert puts together music which is 400 years in time. It's Victoria's Officium Defunctorum, and Ios Lotophagos, and Kusmata. You know, because of your conducting, because of your compositions, that you always paid a great attention to the history of music, to the tradition. But why did you put together these pieces in tonight's concert in RESIS?
I have to go back and I have actually the voice was always in the center of my always more and more in the center of my interests as a composer, and in previous works like Fama, Wüstenbuch, I worked with the spoken voice as well. So my idea was to come from the language to a way of singing, and this research, first the research on the quality of the voice, analysis of what happens here, what happens in this instrument. This research brought me always more and more to the need of understand what is the relation between vertical and horizontal, between harmony and melody. What melody means today. And I was developing an idea of harmonic structures in Violetta Schnee, which are constantly shifting, constantly moving from tonal chords with smallest intervals to a next fundamental, defined by overtones of a fundamental, and this research was important for me to know what the relation between orchestra and voice can be. It's a sort of resonance to give to the voice, to the intimacy of the voice, a resonance in the orchestra. it's quite a long beginning for your question, but and then after Violette Schnee, there was it's like always, sometimes things come in your life, you discover suddenly things like, and this was Victoria, the music, and it was a time where harmony is discovered in a new way completely. It's the step from the Renaissance, from the polyphony to the sound itself, which the sound itself, like colors, 1,000 different shifting colors. This and this was a wish to combine the first work which I did with this idea was Intorno al Bianco, and then a vocal work a sei voci, and then Violette Schnee. So this was a preparation for Violette Schnee, and so I discovered a composer which I didn't know before. That's it's hard to say, but I didn't know Morales nor Guerrero, and Victoria, and so how different this music is from the Italian parallel from Palestrina, for example, and this fascinated me a lot. How also Palestrina was also in this, because as you know, Victoria and Palestrina, they work very close, so they worked 100 meters beside each other in Rome, and nevertheless, Victoria has a very, very specific language. Not to you hear on the first in the first sounds you hear the difference between Victoria and Palestrina. This expressivity through harmony and melody, how melody is not dominated by fundamentals, but melody seems to float very, very free, but in a complex, very complex harmonic context. That's.
And Lotophagos is an early piece. It's before this discovering, because it's from 2006. But Acousmata, it is only 2 years old. It's from 2020. So, what is from this Renaissance polyphony in Acousmata?
Acousmata is based on a Greek text, and is not polyphonic. It's more. It's so. First, I have to. This choice of a Greek text has, of course, as well consequences. Pythagoras has written Acousmata, short sentences. Some of them are very enigmatic, and some of them are easy to understand. And these short sentences gave me an idea of a form, and I have in each of these works I have explored a specific melodic and harmonic concept. So the concept is still this of sequences of fundamentals, but I have here for the first time I have used microtones in the vocal ensemble. It was always problematic for me because, as you know, for a singer to sing microtones is a way to go. It's you have to get this in your body. So it's not just reading, and it's not abstract. It's you have to get it in your body, that you really get a good and equal sound. And one of the texts, this, if the wind blows, listen to the noise, to the appreciate. It says appreciate the noise of the wind, and this is a direct connection. Other things are like don't look at yourself in front of a mirror. Don't look at yourself in candlelight, because it could reject you a wrong image of yourself. Yeah, maybe. And all these ideas, like don't handle the fire with a knife. All those very strong little images gave me an idea of a specific form of these small pieces. Until today we have seven pieces. Yeah. So it's not polyphonic in this way, but it explores, especially in this number 5, a melodic. The question to the melody. It is, of course, the voice. It is the language who affects the vocality and this seems to be important for me. If I compose in Spanish, it is the sound of this Spanish which creates a different vocality. An example is always astonishing. Schubert, his Italian songs are completely different than German song. So he was so close to the language, to the German language, and then also, of course, he spoke Italian, and it's a different approach. Yeah. The voice as an instrument, it's actually a non-instrument because it's body, and the fascination for me is the physical, what you perceive as physical reality of the one who sings. In the first moments of you can understand his physical state. And this was always fascinating for me. Sound, not only with the song sound, also with instrumental sounds, as somehow physical in its physicality, and not divided in abstract parameters like pitch and rhythm and this and that, but as a unity of a gesture. Maybe we call it also gesture.
It is something that composers from the musique saturée French, or even Helmut Lachemann, they are coming, let's say, back to harmony or for pitch from noises. In this composition in Akusmata, probably because of the text and the text to the voice, the singing, but then we have the piano in which the player plays in the strings, and in the percussion there are frictions with stones. Those sounds in the ensemble are also from the text. It's a kind of evocation from the text. How do you manage, and which is the relationship between instruments and vocal music? Because in acousmata it's very close.
Yes, you mentioned the stones. This is a clear vocal articulation. These different colors of the noisy sound. It's already sung in a way. I imagine this structure between the texture which is built by the instrumental sounds and the vocal sounds as a unity, horizontal unity. All kinds of more noisy or less noisy sounds. If you analyze also the spoken voice, you see how complex all this the vowels come in together with the consonants, which are overlapped. They are overlapped, and it's a constant shift of the color from I, O. Actually, this made me understand how the voice works. I mean, I try to understand how it's like architecture. You constantly move something to be understood, and if there would be only the organ which produces the beatings, you wouldn't understand anything if I wouldn't move. It's like Georg Büchner. He has written to his wife in a late letter. I had a dream that my voice is like pipes of a rotten organ, doesn't work anymore, like a machine which is not working anymore. Yeah, of course, Lotophagos was a much earlier work. But also here, it was fascinating to combine it with the double bass. Well, because in the double bass you find the same. You find different, very, very different sounds which are reacting in the space completely different. If you play harmonics, you hear them from elsewhere than if you play the low sounds, or there are hundreds of different colors of noisy sounds. So it's an enormous, rich instrument, and it was easy to combine it with the voice because it has a strong body. Yeah. I wouldn't say all of these vocal works are preparation for an opera, but theater and music are connected anyway. Also in the instrumental composition, I see that. If we talk about gesture and this physicality I mentioned, they are not. We don't think in abstract. So only pitch and rhythm and perfection in this way. We have to understand also this, we could say also meaning, because gesture is in a way meaning as well. If I hear somebody singing very high, it's And if I hear that the voice is getting smaller, you suffer in your own body. So that's how our ear works, and how we listen to the other. Yeah, as well, the combination of noisy sounds with also so-called ordinario sounds. There are always noisy sounds, and there is a beauty in those sounds in the same way of an ordinario sound. So I'm very glad to have the possibility also to work with an ensemble like Cantando Admont continuously on those questions. And also I remember a discussion with the composer, and he asked me why microtones are always sounding wrong. If they are sung. He didn't speak about instrumental. Yeah, and that's it, because they are connected with the body. And
another composer who worked very much with microtones and who was very much influenced by the Renaissance music was Luigi Nono. Sometimes in Lotophagus and other of your pieces, I listen the echoes of Luigi Nono's music. But which other composers, apart from those you have mentioned, Guerrero, Victoria, Morales, and I'm thinking not just in Spanish music and not only Renaissance music, but in the history of music, in tradition, let's say to the Second World War, to the contemporary music, which of them had a great influence in you as a composer? Of which of them you learn all the days? Because I know that you pay a great attention to, for instance, Beethoven's piano sonatas and this music of the tradition. But how and which composers gave you a great inspiration?
Yeah, I have the feeling that in a life in a composer life you have to live the whole music history somehow, from a childhood where listen Schubert was. And gradually this space is open to contemporary and also back to things which I didn't know before, and so there are many influencing me maybe without knowing, but. Important for me also was Monteverdi with his vocal, with his new approach to opera, and especially I have to say I'm fascinated by some kind of radical change in for example, when the opera appeared and this Orfeo appeared, this was a radical change of the and there you find all these questions again and again, about these questions are never answered, and everybody, those young composers, will ask questions about melody, harmony, all this about sound, about form, how to tell a story. how we have to ask those questions because there's no more. There are no more fixed forms we can use like sonata form, or if we use this, we have to reflect it somehow. And you ask me to names. So if Schubert I mentioned, but there was also Schumann, of course, and so where you have the feeling that all these questions are already constant here. And for me, contemporary music in my childhood started with Messiaen. And and then later it was the Wiener Schule, and Varese was very important for me. Varese, desert. Maybe this is the connection. It's the attempt in this. That's his last work, Desert for Electronic and Instrumental. So it's not. I hesitate now because I wanted to say tabula rasa, but it's not. Tabula rasa is not possible. But it's questioning all this from the basic, the relation between harmony and melody. This you hear in Desert Désert very, very clearly. And for me, maybe Varese was even more an influence than Wiener Schule. And if I say Wiener Schule, I mean also Alban Berg, of course. Then Alban Berg, but also Webern and Schoenberg. But in the same way also Varese. I don't think, I said it's Webern and Schoenberg because I'm not thinking in a way like rows or 12-tone rows. No, that's never actually. That's this horizontal for me. This unsolved relation, harmony and melody is not just an arpeggio of a harmony. Is and in the 12-tone technique it is solved because harmony is out of this made out of the horizontal. But this would miss. I would miss. So I need to also to reflect consonance dissonance. What is it? I mean, if I work with perfect intervals, if I put 11th or 13th overtone in the bass, it doesn't sound anymore harmonic in the way of. There is no more fundamental then. But you hear the connection of those. And of course, in Acousmata, it was fascinating for me, and it was a risk because I didn't. In the moment when I have written it, I didn't know exactly how far can we go, how far can we tune these chords until they start speaking. They are not just grey.
Okay, so thank you very much indeed. With your words, I think we will understand better tonight's concert. And bueno, gracias a todos ustedes y esperemos que disfruten del concierto que escucharemos esta noche cantando Admon, con Arxis Ensemble y con Beat Furrer en la dirección. Muchas gracias.